This is Lance, the king of black metal from Witch Taint, the greatest black metal band or any kind of band of all time, basically. And you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast, fucker.
Hey, you are listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast. I am Bruce.
And I am unprepared. I mean, Chris.
Today we've got a really good one. Not that they're all not really good, but this is a funny one. I don't know if you're familiar with Witch Taint. I know I sent you the
I saw the video. Yeah, it was killer.
Not only is it killer music, but the video is hysterical.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I am looking forward to talking to, who are we talking to today? We are talking to Lance, the king of black metal.
The king of black metal that rides a BMX bike.
A BMX bike. Yeah, so if you want to hang on, we'll go ahead and get him on the line, see what he's got to say. Cool. Well, let's just jump right in. I don't even know where to start, but I got that first video where you guys are riding on the bikes.
Oh, yeah. Satan.
And I was totally blown away. That's not only is it great music, but it's so comedic. I guess that was your intent from the start?
Well, we just set out to be the greatest heavy metal band of all time, and I feel like we accomplished it. With no disrespect to, all the bands that, that we respect like at least 5 or 6 other heavy metal bands. So with no disrespect to any of those bands, Black Sabbath and Judas Priest and, I don't know.
You always know something's going to be wrong. I don't mean any disrespect, but.
Yeah, but most other bands are horrible compared to us is what
Okay, so I have a question.
It's all relative.
Why a BMX bike instead of like a muscle car?
Oh, well, I'm not allowed to, neither one of us are allowed to drive at the moment. I don't have my license, and Matthias backwards, it's some legal thing. I don't know. Something, I guess I don't even know how it affected his driving record, but he got into trouble for something, honestly, I would describe it as an innocent sight gag with a cucumber. And I don't think, legally, our lawyer told us not to really get into it. But basically we can't drive. It's the long and short of it. And even if I could drive, my mother wouldn't let me borrow the minivan for very long anyway. So bikes are kind of our normal way of getting around town, when we're just going out to kick some ass and things like that.
What does your mom think about the Sons of Satan there, this song?
Well, I think she knows that Witch Taint is the best band. I mean, definitely like, I think like, if she had to pick her favorite black metal band, it would be Witch Taint. And, basically, I mean, put it to you this way, like basically anyone, you can ask anyone in Gary, Indiana, who the king of black metal is, and they'll tell you right away it's me. Like even my mom the other day asked my dad, she's like, "Hey, have you seen the king of black metal?" And she was totally talking about me. So I don't know. So I don't come up out of the basement that often, to be honest.
Right.
But
where in Indiana did you say you were?
Gary, Indiana. It's kind of more of like a suburb of Chicago. It's best known for being the hometown of Witch Taint, but probably the next best thing or next most famous thing is, it's where Michael Jackson and the rest of the Jacksons are from.
Right. And when you think of black metal, nobody thinks of Oslo or Bergen. They're totally thinking of Gary, Indiana.
No, I mean, since Witch Taint has become a fully realized thing, Oslo and Bergen in terms of black metal are what I would call tertiary markets.
That's beautiful.
And, we originally the plan was, I don't know if you know the whole history of Witch Taint.
No, please enlighten us.
Well, this is basically the band started in my mind, and it existed mostly just in my mind. It started. You can look this up online on the internet. I don't get to use my mom's computer more than like a couple hours a day, but you can do this. Go to the blackmetaldialogues.com. In about 2003 or so, Witch Taint came into existence. I started Witch Taint, and it was like a solo, one man black metal band. And I had other, I had other I had my dungeon synth project, Summer's Eve, and I had some other, other black metal side projects. Unholy Chalice, Mysticum with a K, and anyway, so Witch Taint. But basically, in 2004, even though I hadn't written any music whatsoever for Witch Taint, I decided to get a record contract for the band, and I emailed a Norwegian black metal record label that was home to Mysticum with a C, the Oslo band that some people know about. And so those emails went on for like 6 months, and somehow they wound up on the internet after, but I did record one demo with my friend John, aka Cumlord 2, and that was for the lone Witch Taint demo, which is called Necro Dream Raper, which is unreleased. It's so rare and underground. Like, I have to do a search on my mom's computer to even find it. Though it is actually on YouTube if you search Necro Dream Raper Witch Taint. You can hear the original demo. It's there.
You might also find some other things you can't look up at work.
Yeah, I mean, I need to, some people in the, especially in the Central Southern European metal media have complained that the word raper is in the title, but we just mean it. When I wrote it, I meant like rape in terms of rape the land, not in terms of, raping a person. So,
I see the difference, right?
It all comes down to, I didn't mean to get into semantics during this interview, but, really more of a semantic issue.
You already pulled out the word tertiary. That's like the biggest, that's the biggest vocabulary we've ever had on this show.
Chris actually had to go look it up.
I gotta be honest, like, I'm on a medication that some of the side effects is expanded vocabulary. So a lot of times words come out that I'm not even familiar with. But then I go back and read the interview or listen to the interview, and I was like, oh wow, that totally made sense. But getting back to the email. So anyway, I emailed, and the email, the head of the label was this guy Satom, which if you're paying close attention, is the name Matthias backwards. So anyway, so then after, those emails came out in 2005, and you can read them at the blackmetaldialogues.com, and they're 100% real. And, the band instantly had a very underground cult fan base worldwide, and the band was dormant. And this is like the good thing about being the greatest black metal band of all time is we really can't lose no matter what happens. Like, if we're really busy and do a lot, that's great. But if we do absolutely nothing, that's even better, really, in terms of black metal. So, which is why I chose to not do anything with Witch Taint other than sell T-shirts until 2017. And, in the meantime, we got some high-profile fans. Reed Mullen from Corrosion of Conformity was a big Witch Taint fan. Phil Anselmo,
might
have heard of. He has been a big Witch Taint fan for years. Sean Isolt from White Zombie. So we were already, even with the one demo and a string of emails and a couple T-shirts that I drew, we were already like pretty legendary band for a long time. And then in 2017, Matthias Backwards, my partner in the band. I mean, we're not dating. We're just, musical. He's honestly my worst enemy and my arch nemesis, in addition to being, one of my close friends. But we read the emails on stage at St. Vitus in Brooklyn, which is super far from Gary, Indiana. But David Castillo over there offered us drink tickets, so we did it. So it was a real, me from Indiana and Matthias Backwards coming from Oslo, like the commute was really bad, but, it took off right away. And we did it again at St. Vitus. And then the third show was at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. And we did it there, and it was sold out, our third show ever. And then we did it a few more times. And by this time, we had started to add like Taint of the Witch, the last song, I think, on the album, but for the bonus tracks, that was part of that show. And then Changes was added shortly after that. And then Are You Ready to Black Metal? And we had another song called I Shall Rape the New Age. And again, that song, the word rape is not used in the sense. It's meant, figuratively and not like a violent sexual attack. But that song was about, if you read those old emails, Matthias was complaining about black metal music that was new age with keyboards and stuff. So I wrote the song I Shall Rape the New Age. And that song is about how I plan to rape the new age.
Figuratively.
Yeah, figuratively. And so anyway, we did the show in I'll speed up this story, or you can cut out all this. We did the show in London, then we got invited to do it in Oslo at the Crap Comedy Festival. I don't know why they booked a black metal band into the Crap Comedy Festival, but it's the biggest comedy festival in Norway. And somehow, I don't know, they made a mistake and booked us. But the cool thing about it was Fenriz from Darkthrone was in the front row of that show. And he loved it. And we played, he said our music sounded like Bulldozer and I think Destruction or Pile Driver. I can't remember. But anyway, it was high praise. And then from there, in 2018, we did the Wacken Festival, which is an up-and-coming heavy metal festival.
Right. Right. It's new. I heard about that.
Not a lot of people know about it, but we think it's going to grow from just based on our experience. But we were the only band on the whole festival that performed all 4 days. So take that, Mr. Big.
Right.
And anyway, when we were, standing out in the middle of the field in Germany, and we had our own tent because I think they thought that none of the other bands could handle being on the same stage as us, even after we left. So they gave us our own tent right in the middle of everything, and people would come and see us. And I think a lot of people were really confused why 2 guys in corpse paint were standing there reading from laptops and only playing like 4 songs in an hour. Because we would read the emails on stage. We would read the whole emails that you can read at the blackmetaldialogues.com. We would read those anyway. So people were really confused. And then, but they would go nuts when we would play the music. And that's when we were like, when we get back home to America, we should finish, we should make a whole record. So that's what we did. And now it's finally out. And I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to it yet, but it's the greatest I guess I'm simplifying it to say it's the greatest black metal record or greatest heavy metal record of all time. But you know, I would say it's probably the greatest record of all time. Period. You know.
Wow, that's I could see that.
Yeah. So I have a question. What's it like?
Yeah.
What's it like being in a black metal band in Indiana?
Well, it's not ideal for some things, you know, because it's mostly like it's the Midwest, so it's mostly flat land. So it makes it much harder to sort of scamper about in the mountains and hills and things.
Yeah, like where do you get the band pictures from?
We go out on my deck.
Is it your deck or your mom's deck?
Well, I mean, it's the deck at the house that my mom and I.
So it's technically yours too.
Yeah. So you tell me.
Semantics.
Semantics.
I just remember driving through Indiana, and there's signs all over the interstate. If Jesus had a gun, he'd still be alive, and stuff like that. I was just like, okay, what's it like being in a black metal band in a place like that?
Well, I think, by the next time you drive through Indiana, you'll see that all those signs will have been replaced by witch taint. It's going to take time because, to those billboards, I know the ones you're talking about, they're pretty big. And, because, I'm not like a professional sign maker, what I did was I just print them out at Kinko's on 8.5 by 11. So to do one billboard, it's like 1,000 pieces of paper.
Like 3 weeks of allowance.
Yeah, you take 1,000 pieces of paper, 10 cents a sheet.
Because they mentioned the glue, right? With how you put them up there.
Yeah, and you can only do. I go up at night and I put as many as I can, but it's going to take me a while, but I'll get it done, is my point. But yeah, and it's hard, like, just like the basics of life when you're the king of black metal as I am, like you got to, it's hard to be extreme and brutal when like you're shopping for groceries and stuff. So,
but I would think the king of all black metal should have, servants or people to do that kind of stuff for him, right?
Well, my mom will sometimes like bring a sandwich down to the basement if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I basically do, but that's pretty much. Other than that, I rarely eat, just because I don't want to be. Well, I do work part-time at Subway, so a lot of
right.
I'm not gonna say. I can't really say because I don't want to get.
You get fired, right?
But
no, I get it.
Let's just say I have as many teriyaki chicken subs as I want.
So are you saying the king of black metal works at Subway?
Part-time. It's not full-time.
Okay.
My real job is playing music in Witch Taint, but I just...
All right. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Since you're a sandwich maker, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Well, that's the age-old question, isn't it?
That's in the book of black metal.
Yeah,
you can look it up online.
Yeah, honestly, like, I didn't want to bring up lesser bands, but basically the first Gorgoroth record is pretty much that's what it's only about, the hot dog.
That whole controversy, right?
Yeah, if you listen closely to the lyrics on the first Gorgoroth record, they kind of answered the question. And no, it's not a sandwich.
So you're saying all our viewers, if they really want to know the answer to that, they need to go listen to some Norwegian black metal?
Well, no, I don't think that they should go listen to Gorgoroth, especially since Gall is out of the band, even though he didn't sing on the first record. But I don't know. I guess you got to let your ears cool off after listening to Witch Taint. So if people want to, just as a palate cleanser, go listen to like a pussy band like Gorgoroth. That's fine.
All right. So, lastly, since we're talking about soup, and you are the king of Subway and all black metal, is cereal a soup?
Oh, I'm gonna say this is where my professionalism kicks in.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And no, it's not. It's not. Jesus, why do people keep asking me this? No. No, I mean, it comes in a bowl. Yeah, actually, yeah, I think it's a soup. I don't know why I fought it that hard. I mean, it might be the best soup depending on the cereal in question, like if you got like Frosted Flakes or something, yeah, that's pretty good. Plus, like, soup is bullshit. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever had a bowl of soup when you were like, yep, this is exactly what I want to be happening right now?
I've never fucking understood soup. I fucking hate soup.
Sometimes you have it and you're like, yeah, I guess this will do in a pinch since apparently there's no real food available.
But wait, like my wife and everybody, they like, tomato soup and grilled cheese. What about that?
Well, you're doing it for the grilled cheese with dipping sauce. You could just use ketchup in that case.
No. Wait, are you saying the ketchup is tomato soup?
It's just thicker tomato soup.
Well, you can make really gross tomato soup out of some ketchup and hot water. I mean, that's how I survived. That's how I survived during the intermittent years while Witch Taint was like inactive. That's how I survived.
So we got 2 new questions, Bruce. Can you make tomato soup out of ketchup and hot water? And B, is tomato soup really just ketchup?
Right.
No, I mean that's insanity to make that sort of leap.
Yeah. So my last question, and it came from my wife the other day. She suggested I ask this one. Why do you think they put round pizzas in a square box?
Oh, well, that's easy. They tried to do round boxes for a very long time, but the injuries in the manufacturing. I mean, because
I heard they were sometimes pretty brutal.
Yeah, I mean, you want to see a paper cut that'll land you in the ER. You try to put together a round pizza because the problem is there's no edge, and you kind of slip off it, and you can go right into the meat cooler. All sorts of things can happen.
Gotcha. Well, I don't have anything else. Chris, you got anything else?
I do. Yeah, one more. How many times did you guys have to chain up your bikes in the video?
Well, we didn't. We would just set them down and if anyone came near them, like we did go into a 7-Eleven at one point, and we left them. And Matthias backwards just went. Someone was walking up to him, and he just opened the door and was like, "Hey, those are our bikes," and that's all it took.
Okay. Nice.
Plus, like, the problem with those, they're pretty sweet bikes, but they are for 12-year-olds, so they were very hard to pedal. So if you were to see them lying around, you would have to be a small child to really want them.
Right.
We to be honest, when things take off, and I'm pretty sure they're going to explode just based on some of the Facebook likes we've gotten this morning. That we'll get some new sweeter bikes, if you can imagine that. Getting
those are pretty jacked, right?
They're pretty jacked, but I'm thinking of getting one of those 3-wheel bikes, so I don't have to worry about balancing as much.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Because it's one of those things, they say it takes like 7 muscles to smile or something, and then like 437 to frown.
Right.
And it's the same way with balancing a bike, like your brain power. Like if you have a 3-wheeled bike, your brain is like, oh, thank God,
Plus, I mean, 2 is
Raise
good,
you
but 3
up.
is always better, right?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, look at the classic lineup of Motorhead. I mean, there you get into a question of 4 versus 3, but you see my point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If
That
there's
was great.
This podcast is about nothing. So
Yeah.
we're like the Seinfeld of metal podcasts.
Oh, nice. Okay, so same time next week?
Dude, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Hello out there. Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.